So let's say a prayer real quick and we'll get right in it. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful day. I cannot be more amazed with the weather we've had this whole year. Every single Sunday, I feel like I've come up here just so thankful of how nice the weather has been. And here we are, July 12th, and it is just amazing outside. And I thank you for the rain. I thank you for everything that you orchestrate around this planet to just keep the plants and the animals and the people and everybody all taken care of. Thank you so much for us being able to get here to get together today and to share our stories and laughters and smiles and just to fellowship with one another, Lord. It means so much to us, as you know, and people need that connection and need that joy that they have when they get to laugh and talk and share with one another. So we know fellowship is repeated in the Bible so many times of how important it must be, and so we thank you for that. And we thank you for our health and for everyone that's able to make it in today, and for everyone that's not. We pray that you guide them and help them into everything that they're doing, and just make sure that they're all doing well. And with your Son's Jesus' name, I pray every day. Amen. I am so happy to jump into the book of Joshua, especially when I start thinking about the story of Jericho, because that was one that always made me so happy as a kid. And the trumpets and the walls coming down. I'm just so excited to get into it. And but before jumping right into Joshua, because I definitely want to read at least chapters 1, 2, and 3 if I have time to read the whole things. But just a little review, and then I had one question for you all that might lead into other questions, and if so, I'll be thrilled. I would love it. But we finished up the Torah last time I spoke. We spoke about some of the laws that were in Deuteronomy and things, and just thinking back on all 5 books that we went over. There were some questions that were left unanswered, and one of them we'll get to find out in the book of Joshua is will these people perform the ceremony that Moses instructed them to perform, where they pledge their covenant to God? Will they follow God's covenant? Will they break it? And we'll find out later, obviously, like in the books of Kings and Chronicles and Ezra and Nehemiah a little further on, if God's people don't make the right choices, what will happen to them, and will God restore them? And then there was a question of where will there ever be another prophet another prophet like Moses? And the Torah doesn't specify it. From there, obviously Moses dies at the very end, but we know later on in the New Testament that about an individual named Jesus that we all are very familiar with. But at this point in time in the Bible, they don't know anything else, and so that's where they're left off, is what happens now. Moses is no longer with us. He's gone, I believe, to be with the Lord, and so what happens from here? The book of Joshua, as we know, is the 6th book of the Old Testament. A wonderful book to me. I love reading this book. 24 chapters in it. A little bit shorter than some of the other first 5 books, so I think that we'll get through it pretty well, and once we start diving into it, it's going to flow really, really quickly. But before I begin reading, I wanted to ask you all, do you have or found yourself asking any questions from the first 5 books? Is there any questions that ever stood out as, well, why would this happen this way, or why would that happen that way? I mean, I sometimes have found things in the first 5 books that have made me wonder, well, why did that have to happen like this, or why did this happen like that? But then ultimately I go, well, God knows way better than I do. His plan is perfect, and he has the answers for all those things. But I was just curious if anybody else had any questions. Like one for me was why, and I touched on this a little bit last time, but why, and some of this I think might just be people's free will, but like why did those brothers go and murder that whole tribe, of men there when Dinah was defiled, which we know is a horrible act, and I could understand her brother's anger, but did God approve of that retaliation or not? But Bob actually alighted some answers to me on that front of when you told me last week that so that helped me I guess answer the questions that I had when you said that he actually denounced what those brothers have done later on. So that was one question I had. But I just wasn't sure if anybody else had any things that just stick to their heart or questions about anything in the first 5 books that you all have ever had to ponder about. I know there's definitely more things that I've had to ponder about, because there's so much in the first 5 books that I can't really think of on the top of my head. I'll have to write them down, and I'll have to come talk to you about them sometime and say, how did you feel about this, or how did that? Because there was just so much, and I feel like we never have enough time to go over it all. But anyways, I want to dive right in to Joshua chapter 1, and if you guys want to follow along with me, I'll just begin reading. And there's some good stuff and some good talking points in here that I would love to get to. So we'll see how far we get, but I'm definitely interested in leaving nothing out. I would like to touch every point in the book. So no matter how many weeks it takes us to get through Joshua, we'll do it. But I'm going to begin reading with Joshua 1:1, and in this part of Joshua chapter 1, I believe this is where Joshua is assured by God, and God comes to speak to him. So it says in verse 1, "Now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses my servant is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I give to them, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that I have given unto you, as I said unto Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, and the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. Be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide us for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, and that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper and whithersoever thou goest. This book of the law shall not be departed out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest." So Joshua, I believe, was probably feeling pretty good at this point that the Lord came to spake directly to him. Wow, what a feeling that must be. I can't imagine not feeling empowered if the Lord came and spoke directly to me in such manner. I would definitely heed those words. So I believe he does. And then Joshua commands the officials of the people, saying, that's verse 10, pass through the host and command the people, saying, prepare your victuals, for within 3 days ye shall pass over this Jordan, to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you to possess it, and to the Reubenites, and to the Gadiites, and to half the tribe of Manasseh, spake Joshua saying, remember the word which Moses the servant of the Lord commanded you, saying, the Lord your God hath given you rest, and hath given you this land. Your wives, your little ones, and your cattle shall remain in the land which Moses gave you on this side of the Jordan. But ye shall pass before your brethren, armed, and all the mighty men of valor, and help them, until the Lord have given your brethren rest, as he hath given you, and they also have possessed the land which the Lord your God giveth them. Then ye shall return unto the land of your possession, and enjoy it, which Moses the Lord's servant gave to you on this side of the Jordan, toward the sun rising. So earlier we read in verse 4, toward the going down of the sun shall be your coast. I think to us today, we could easily say that should be the west with the sun going down. I just love the wording of the Bible and how they word that, though, because there's no mistaking to them. They see the sun rise and set there. But over here, it says, on this side, Jordan toward the sun rising, so towards the east of the Jordan. And I'll have to get a map ready for next week, and so I can pull that up, because I could pull up Google Maps right now, but I just think we'll look at that, because I want to, I definitely would like to find at least approximately where they may have crossed. I'm always fascinated by maps and geography and that, but I'm sure there's a lot of scholars that have spent many more years of their lives than I have trying to find exactly where that is, and so I'll have to dig up some research on that and go there. But
well, it was right by Jericho.
Yeah.
So that's the starting place.
Oh yeah.
Also, isn't this verse interesting in verse 3, because there's that common phrase right now by the Palestinians that say, from the river to the sea. They claim Palestine from the Jordan River, which is where Jericho is, mm-hmm. to the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah.
And this verse specifically gives everything to Joshua. He's already at Jericho, and he gives it to him to the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah.
So the Bible says that land belongs to Israel.
Yep. Wow. I would love to see, where Jericho would be in present day. Is the city still?
I think it's just north of
is it still remains?
I'm not sure if there are remains there. There probably are archaeological sites. I don't know if they still have a city there.
I mean, I know the walls would have crumbled down, but
there you go, exactly. But it's just a little bit north of the Dead Sea.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be fun. I'll try to see if I can find some good maps to share next week so we can talk about that.
Let's all go over there.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
No.
Maybe not today. I don't know. I guess if you have a lot of money to share, they'll be kind to you. But
you just take a flight.
Yeah. All right. Well, verse 14. Let's see. Or where did I leave off here? Oh, I left off verse 15. So verse 16. And they answered Joshua, saying, all that thou commandest us we will do, and whithersoever thou send us we will go. So right there, it sounds to me like they have reaffirmed, we will follow God's covenant. Mm-hmm. They've said it over and over and over again, so we'll see if they really do it. But they say they will. So according as we hearken, verse 17, unto Moses in all things, so we will hearken unto thee. Only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. Whoever he be that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto thy words and all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of a good courage. So there we have chapter 1, where Israel is choosing to cross the Jordan here. And then in Joshua 2, things get real interesting. I love this chapter because Joshua gets a couple of spies to go into the land ahead to kind of scope things out. And so, verse 1 of chapter 2. And Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, Go view the land, even Jericho. And they went and came unto a harlot's house named Rahab, and lodged there. And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, Behold, there came men in hither to night of the children of Israel to search out the country. And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which are entered into thine house, for they be come to search out all the country. And the woman took the 2 men and hid them, and said thus, There came men unto me, but I wist not whence they were. And it came to pass about the time of shutting the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out. Whither the men went I would not pursue after them quickly, for ye shall overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof of the house, and hid them with stalks of flax, which she had laid in order upon the roof. And the men pursued after them the way to Jordan unto the fords. As soon as they which pursued after them were gone out, they shut the gate. And before they were laid down, she came up upon them upon the roof, and she said unto the men, I know that the Lord hath given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the river of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did unto the 2 kings of the Amorites that were on the other side of the Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. And as soon as we heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, He is God in heaven above and in earth beneath. So it sounds to me like this lady, Rahab, has heard of these stories along with many, many of the others there in Jericho, if not everybody. But she has put in her heart that she believes that your God is the God of heaven and of earth, and so she has fear of the true God in her heart. Which we know at this time there were so many different nations worshiping so many other gods that the world was just a very, very confused place. But after hearing some of the things that the Lord of Israel did for them, it was very obvious to her who the true God is, and so that was good for her. And I think that'll spare her and her family later. But then she starts a covenant between Rahab and the spies. So in chapter 12 here, she lays down this covenant before them. Now therefore I pray you, swear unto me by the Lord, since I have shown you kindness, that ye will also show kindness unto my father's house, and give me a true token, and that ye will save alive my father, and my mother, and my brethren, and my sisters, and all that I have, and deliver our lives from death. And the men answered her, Our life for yours, if ye utter not this our business. And it shall be, when the Lord hath given us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with thee. Then she let them down by a cord through the window, for her house was upon the town wall, and she dwelt upon the wall. And she said unto them, Get you to the mountain, lest your pursuers meet you, and hide yourselves there 3 days, until the pursuers be returned, and afterward may ye go your way. And the men said unto her, We will be blameless of this thine oath which thou hast made us swear. Behold, when we come into the land, thou shalt bind this line of scarlet thread in the window which thou didst let us down by. And thou shalt bring thy father and thy mother and thy brethren and all of thy father's household home unto thee. And it shall be that whosoever shall go out of the doors of thine house into the streets, his blood shall be upon his head, and we will be guiltless. And whoever shall be with thee in thy house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand be upon him. And if thou utter this our business, then we will be quit of thine oath, which thou hast made us to swear. And she said, According unto your words, so be it. And she sent them away, and they departed. And she bound the scarlet line in the window. And they went and came unto the mountain, and abode there 3 days until the pursuers were returned. And the pursuers sought after them throughout all the way, but found them not. The spies report back to Joshua in verse 23, we'll see here. So the 2 men returned and descended from the mountain and passed over and came to Joshua, the son of Nun, and told them all the things that befell them. And they said unto Joshua, Truly the Lord hath delivered into our hands all the land, for even all the inhabitants of the country do faint because of us. So what a wonderful 2 chapters to start out the book of Joshua. These spies, I guess, quickly found what how the people feel and think there in that town, and were hid because of this lady who made a promise with them, and they promised to spare her and her family as well. And so I'm excited to get into this a lot further. Most of these chapters are very, very short, and so I would love to read them all. Of course, I probably won't have time to read the entire book of Joshua, so there will be some chapters that I'll have to probably skim through. But the first 2 I thought were just such a great starting point, and I would really like to read chapter 3 too, but I'm kind of running out of time, so I might pick up there next week. But in chapter 3 we'll see a very amazing story. I just love the wording there and how symbolic it kind of is back to crossing the Red Sea, where the Lord will guide them across the Jordan and dry up the river for them and for the ark, and they'll have 12 stones that they'll build a memorial, like a memorial kind of deal. I don't know the right word for that, but it'll be a memorable thing. And there's one thing that I need to look up when talking about geography and stuff. Verse 9 of chapter 4. And Joshua set up 12 stones in the midst of Jordan, in the place where the feet of the priests which bear the ark of the covenant stood, and they are there unto this day. Now, wow, wouldn't that be fun to go over there and find those stones, wouldn't it? So just a little sneak peek into next week, where they'll begin to cross the Jordan River. Oh, it's just such a good story to me. I just love it going through this chapter. So, but that's all the time I have today. But we hopefully, Mike said he will be here next week, and so but he asked me to do the message. So I don't know if you would like to do Sunday school next week. We can talk about that. Maybe I can. Or I don't mind. I'll do some more Joshua next week and try to see if I can handle it all. Yeah, we went bowling with them on Friday, and he did say that he'd be back, but he wanted to. He'd have a lot of relatives in, and wouldn't have a whole lot of time to prepare and stuff. And so he asked if I would do that, and I told him I'll do anything that is asked of me. So, but yeah, really excited to get further into Joshua. So. We got to read chapters 1 and 2 together. If y'all haven't got to read the book of Joshua, start with pick up on chapter 3 and keep going, because it's really good, and we'll get into that next week. So thank you so much.